come with me as we go and watch Inter Miami versus DC United in the MLS. While I was in Miami, the hotel I was staying in was literally a 10-minute walk away from the Chase Stadium, and I luckily got tickets to two of the games, one of them being DC United. One of the first things we did when we arrived at the Chase Stadium was head to the fan zone, and to be honest I was a little bit sceptical. I didn't really know what to expect, never been to an MLS game before, but there was plenty to do. There was loads of giveaways, and if you were as technically gifted as yours truly, there was plenty of prizes to walk away with, so it was quite cool. You got the sense in the fan zone that whilst the vibes were good, it was kind of a bit like a lot of intrepidation in the air about whether Messi was going to play or not. He did play a full 90 against Seattle earlier in the week. The heavens started to open. We had to get some cover and get some suitable refreshment, of course. And that is the point that the team news came through, and we were all delighted to see that Messi was playing. So all that was left for us to do was to grab some food and head into the Chase Stadium to find our seats. I was actually really pleased with our seats behind the goal, and as excited as I was to see Messi play, I was equally as excited at this point to learn that Christian Benteke was playing up front for DC United. At kickoff, the atmosphere was absolutely electric, and every time this fella got anywhere near the football, the whole stadium was on its feet. It was just incredible. What a spectacle to see. The rain did continue to drive down, and at this point I was really regretting not bringing my poncho with me from the hotel, especially with it being 0-0 and no sign of a goal. But Messi mania did continue through the first half. Inter Miami started to turn up the heat, and as it got wetter and wetter and wetter, just before half time, Miami went 1-0 up through an Allende goal. Half-time brought the chance for more freebies with t-shirts being thrown into the crowd. I managed to find a shirt that wasn't Messi 10, and the conditions were getting worse. We had just about enough time to queue up for a beer. This one was a good one, and then it was back to our seats for the second half. Well, the second half kicked off, and it was a Benteke goal that gave DC United an early equaliser, and the lads behind me enjoyed that Benteke goal just as much as I did, which was great to see. Inter Miami from that point onwards were completely dominant, and this was a particularly bad miss that I had to chuck in there. Felt sorry for the lad, but it wasn't long before we saw Messi doing Messi things. Look at the pyros, by the way. Of course it was that man, and the lads behind the goal opposite me really enjoyed that one. Inter Miami had the chance to make it 3-1, but that penalty crashed off the crossbar. I don't know why Messi didn't take it. And then DC United actually had a penalty shout themselves. The referee went over to VAR to have a look at whether the ball, or the man, was inside or outside the box at the point of the foul, and he had judged that it was going to be a free kick outside the box. Inter Miami players arguing how far outside the box that might have been. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how far it is outside the box if that's all you're going to do with your free kick. As the game went on, it looked like Messi was starting to slow down, starting to walk a little bit more than usual, but then a chance fell to him on the edge of the box, and he did this. How about that for a finish? And it was his second of the night. It was an absolute worldie of a strike, and just the reaction of the people around us just summed it up. I mean, this lad behind me with his hands on his head, that is how everybody was feeling at this point. The game did actually finish 3-2 to Inter Miami with a last minute, 97th minute DC United goal, but it was too little too late, and that brings us to the end of this vlog. If you've liked it, please do like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you want to see next, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one.